Yay! Hello and welcome to the August 2019 Sunshine Summit. My name is Heather and I am your host. This week, in association with our guests today, I'm bringing to you a week of live streams to recognise and celebrate connections. We've been going live for the whole week. If you've missed them, please check out the replays. And if you've been there, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming along live. Thank you to everyone who is in the live chat already. And without further ado, the guests that I have today are the rest of the Geeks Rising crew. Welcome to the Sunshine Summit, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Hello.
Hello. This is exciting. This is very cool. We have had Bandrew on the Sunshine Summit twice before, and now it's really awesome to have Logan, Malcolm, and Zach with us as well. And earlier this week, we were joined by Ben Brown, who is host of the Tourette's podcast, and he is at a summit at the moment for Tourette's. So very cool that you guys could be here. And we've got Chris Curran in the chat. Hey, Chris. We've got Ducky and Eldest and Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. Mark and Dean was there earlier. So welcome. If anyone in the live chat has any questions as we go along, please ask them. But I also wanted to ask everyone to sort of think about their favorite connections with films, music, audio gear, and creators that you follow so that we could talk about those as we go along. The Geeks Rising, we're here.
What are you holding?
Oh, you came prepared.
Bandrew's
I did my homework.
Well ready, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Our homework's right in here.
Yeah, you nerd.
We've got an
Thanks
initial
for having us on, Heather.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
excited to be here.
Yay. It's nice to see and talk to you this time. We had Logan on a live stream back in April with Bandrew and myself for Geeks Rising, so it's really cool that Zach and Malcolm, you could make it today and that you're all together.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Just
be
recently,
fun.
Logan, you did the Conversations with Creators as one of your shows, and you interviewed us all from Geeks Rising, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a really fun treat. I was kind of on a hiatus for a little bit, personal stuff, and I thought a great way to get back in would be to introduce and interview all of the podcasts, like Geeks Rising Podcast Network people. And it was super fun to talk to all of you one-on-one and hear all your wonderful voices and why you do what you do. So that was really fun.
I highly recommend everyone go check out those episodes because
And you did
You go.
I was just going to say, and Logan, you did a very good job with all of them. It was so much fun, especially to hear from Zach and Malcolm, because they kind of hide behind this veil. They don't share too much about their own life. So I was so excited to listen to that one. That was so fun.
Yeah, you did a really good job. They were really interesting, and they do cover a lot of the connection stories of us all, which is good to know. If anyone hasn't listened to them yet, the connection stories for Geeks Rising kind of start with before Geeks Rising formed, of us who connected. Malcolm and Zach, you connected first, and then you connected with Logan, and then Logan connected with Banjo, and then we all came together eventually. And then Ben came on this year. So, yay!
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
There's actually a story. I met Logan because of Malcolm. I knew Malcolm before anybody else.
It's true.
Yeah. I would go into Malcolm's comic shop, and he said, my buddy has a podcast. You have to listen to it. And then I started sending Logan mean tweets.
and now I'm a part of your network. So joke's on you.
Yeah.
Dang it. I got bamboozled again. Those blasted kids.
And I also used to see Bandrew at the 7-Eleven I worked at.
Oh, that's right.
6 or 7 years ago.
Yes. I would always go in extremely late and buy a bunch of booze. So actually, no, I knew Zach first.
Yeah, technically you would have known Zach first. Yeah.
And then Malcolm.
Where are the
And then Logan.
Where are the secret pieces?
Awesome. Well, and
It's a
you're still
broken little
connected, so
family.
that's amazing, and we're all part of Geeks Rising now. Sorry, I got the origin story wrong there. A couple of questions did pop up.
We've held that close to our chest.
Okay.
It's been a secret.
Yeah.
So
No, this is
There's
the
no fault.
unveiling. Yeah.
The retcon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ducky's got a question for Banjo. Why are you using the Q2U instead of your favorite SM7B? And I've got an answer for that, Ducky.
Ooh.
yeah. So I asked what microphone. It's a dealer's choice. The dealer gets to choose what microphone I use. And Q2U cult, rise up.
Q2U hype. I think we just had the stream drop out because this is, man, I'm sorry. Hopefully it's come back. Let us know if you can see us and hear us again. It just looked like it.
Yeah, it's up.
Cool. Yeah, Q2U hype. Thank you for bringing the Q2U to the summit today. And what ones do you guys have, Logan?
We're all rocking the Shure SM7. No, I'm kidding. We got the. I don't have that much money. We have the SM40. That's what it is. Yeah. Banjo would know. He recommended it.
Yeah, it's the SM48, which is Eldest's mic. Eldest is in the chat.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're durable. They last. I've had these since I started and been able to keep chatting with these guys on them. So I love it.
That's cool.
They
Got
sound
Tim.
much better than the ones Malcolm and I used to use.
Yes.
What did you used to use?
Some Audio Technica ones.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
What they
Whatever
were,
the
but-
cheapest was on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Well, at least you've got those ones. I like the red microphone cables.
Yeah.
We're matching boys. We're pretty cute. You know, it's no big deal.
Going back to the origin story, Chris Curran asked, did you stand out front and chug Slurpees? Outside of the 7-Eleven.
No, I would more stand outside and chug 40s, not Slurpees. Kind of
Same
rhyme.
difference. Yeah, same difference.
Ducky's
But
got a...
now you use coffee.
Yeah. So good to have a drink of something, just to keep hydrated.
If you are interested in one of these lovely mugs, you can purchase them.
With promo
I
code
think we
Geeks
earn
Rising
50 cents
for
on each of them
yeah.
for an extra quarter off.
Ducky's got wow, booze connected Bandrew with people.
It's the first time you ever hear of that happening, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
great?
Yeah. Thank you. Or just go back to sort of the theme of today about celebrating connections. Thank you for making Geeks Rising Bandrew, of supporting people that you enjoy their content and or helping and giving feedback to help improve our content and with the aim of like providing useful, helpful information for others and yeah, just being supportive on this journey that we're on.
Well, thank you all for being part of it. It's really just a ploy on my end to force people to be my friends. So you've been the ones who have been bamboozled.
I see what you did there, Bandrew.
Yeah. I put up this hard shell, but really I'm just so lonely. And you all fill that void for me. So thank you.
It's a network of friends, is what it really
Exactly.
is.
That's really what it is. It's just a bunch of people who all really are awesome. And I'm just happy. I'm happy to be a part of it too. So
That's good.
thank all of you.
You're welcome. Logan, one of your most important connections is in the chat, Cynthia. I'm glad that she's able to be a part of today, aside from Zach and Malcolm who do the podcast with you, but Cynthia is a very important connection.
Yeah, she is my amazing wife and a creator herself, and I feel really lucky to have such an amazing partner. So, sure, I'll live stream shout her out.
Are you married?
Yes.
Cynthia
my
is,
journey has been
Right.
cataloged. Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Cynthia is 10 times Tiger. She has creates designer toys and things, and they're amazing. They're absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I'd recommend that you check out her things as well. We talked about that you featured us all on Conversations with Creators. On the subject is a show that you do connecting with pop culture and things, and you've been doing a bunch of film series, and the current one that you're on is Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
Yeah. So on the subject, we look at film franchises, and so we like choose a film series and we go through it and see how it evolved and grew over time, like from the first movie. Especially, it's really interesting watching these and like seeing that most of them started with just one movie, and then since it made money, they kept making them. But then they start to add more continuity and like, oh, we keep making these, we should make them all connect. And especially with Fast and Furious, it's been a wild ride. Yeah, it's a
It's been
fun
a lot
time.
of fun to talk about.
It's fun to break down and analyze story through film, because since we all like write and do stuff on our own, it's a good like practice to be looking at story and watching and then seeing how it works and seeing how things have changed over time from like movies that came out 2 decades ago to last year or last week or whatever it might be.
Yeah. The Cynthia who's in the chat, sorry, I got you confused with Cynthia Noggle, but she said, had a conversation with Zach and Logan about their tester movies. Curious what Bandrew and Heather and Malcolm's are.
Tester movies.
What's a tester movie?
That's a good question.
A tester movie, if I'm correct here, a tester movie is a movie that you test with someone, like on a first date or something to see like what they're like a movie that you really like.
Yeah, you could expand it to friendship or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
what's the movie you used to test that person? Like, if they don't like blank, we can't hang. They don't get me.
Yeah.
And so that's our other friend, Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Tell my wife, Cynthia, hi.
Yeah, sorry,
Cynthia.
sorry, I got that confused before. Do you have a tester movie?
That's a good question. I want to say Amadeus, but there's no way I'm going to subject somebody to that the first time we hang out. Hey, want to watch a 3-hour film?
If we can't make it through this
so
3-hour film, we're not
maybe-
going to be friends.
Exactly. Exactly. Maybe Event Horizon. I don't know.
Dude,
I'm
I
just grasping
literally
at straws.
just watched that last night.
I pulled it out as one of my favorites.
I
Of
so
the 3 DVDs I pulled out.
I literally showed it to my girlfriend last night, and I was astonished that she liked it. I'm so happy.
Where we're going, you don't need eyes.
Do you see? Do you see? It's the best movie.
So good.
It really is
Uh,
amazing.
Mine is probably Speed Racer. It's like my second favorite movie because it's bananas, and if you can hang in on that movie, then we're automatically going to be the closest of people. But Event Horizon is a close second, to be honest.
Can I change my answer to Paul Blart Mall Cop?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, we lost Bandrew. He dropped out.
No, I guess.
No,
Event
see,
is gone.
that's the actual test. That's the test. Make somebody watch Paul Blart Mall Cop, and if they're like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious," yeah, leave. It's
Then
time for you to go.
Then you kick them out of the van that you have them watching Paul Blart in.
Yeah. Why do I have a van that we're watching movies in?
Zach, what's your tester movie?
I can't remember what I said when we were talking to Cynthia, but the first one that pops in my head is The Fifth Element. If you can't have fun watching that, then you're not a fun person.
Yeah.
Dean in
Heather?
the chat said, just before we get to mine, Dean in the chat said Star Wars ... and then put or The Intern, and I think
Oh,
eldest
nice.
Really?
eldest bro
All right.
is The Labyrinth.
Yep.
That's a great
There
one.
you go. Great one. The Intern is a good one.
That is. Yeah.
Any
That is
Guillermo
good.
movie is a good one though too.
And my one would have to be that is a tough question. If someone enjoyed watching like We Were Soldiers, it's one that I'd like say every time someone asks what my favorite movie is. If they enjoyed that one, then I'm sure we'll be friends. Yeah,
Good flick.
I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
Wow.
it's
And we
okay. I
lost
think.
Logan.
Well, that's okay. Maybe it evens us out because Spider-Man's not my favorite.
Okay, fine. We're fine.
There you go.
Chris Curran's got Biodome. Shawshank is
Oh,
one from
wow.
Dean.
Purple sticky punch.
Chris, what a selection.
oh,
Oh
boy.
my god.
And Ducky suggested Apocalypse Now.
The weasel, man.
Ooh, Apocalypse Now.
The extended cut, once again, it's just a test of time of like if you can sit there for 4.5
I
hours.
would just use the
Commitment.
Apocalypse
You've got to
Now
have
episode
commitment,
for
right,
Unity.
to a friendship. So
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
I want to change mine to just you have to watch all of the Lord of the Rings movies, not The Hobbit. All the Lord of the Rings with me, and that's the test.
Extended
The
cuts.
extended cuts?
Yeah.
In one night?
One day, just one whole day.
Cool. Yeah, I could do that.
So, for future on the subject, things that you're going to cover, I'm going to put in my request, and I would love a series on the Resident Evil films.
So we actually are looking at our 2020 calendar, and it made the cut. It's on the calendar.
It's on the books.
Yes.
It's on the books.
It's going to be a weird road. I don't know if it's going to be weirder than Fast and the Furious, but
It'll be a weird
It'll
one.
be,
for sure.
it'll be pretty parallel, honestly.
Made by the guy that did Event Horizon.
So is it
Yeah.
that Paul Anderson who did Event Horizon?
Yeah.
I actually thought it was PTA.
Nah.
Oh, man.
No. You got you did There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was Paul Thomas Anderson. I
Oh.
was like, this makes a lot of sense.
Sophomore film, right?
That would be the
Isn't that a
biggest
better story?
transformation ever. It
It's
is a better story.
story.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That'd be incredible.
So-
yeah, we're gonna do several different series coming up, including a one-off for Bandrew that we don't know yet because his horror movie selection is terrifying.
Andrew
but
wants us to watch Showa.
we'll get there, and then we'll all stay the night together. in a cold shower or something. I don't know.
I'll pay
Just
for the
crying.
therapy. I'll pay
Okay,
for the
there
therapy.
we go.
All right, we're holding you to that. You got like 4 witnesses at least.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? I didn't sign a contract. This live stream is not contractually binding.
Yes, it is.
Arizona, it is, baby.
Shouldn't have moved, sucker.
Curse it all.
We're just airing our grievances on this live stream, right? That's what...
This is the therapy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you guys get together, you record as you are together for the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
At Logan's house.
Yeah. Usually we're not this close on one couch together, but
Malcolm-
emotionally we're
Yeah.
this close.
I'm usually on Malcolm's lap though, so
This
Yeah.
is true. This is true.
Yeah, we all record in a room together because I love being able. It's the same reason I like doing this live stream. I like being able to see faces and
Yeah.
reacting to each other. It's
Yeah. It
really
creates
fun.
a better, more genuine reaction.
yeah.
And I think that proves just, in our live stream, definitely, but like on our podcast, definitely shows.
And if there's too many tangents, I can give them a glare. The old.
And it won't work.
Well, but I edit it. So.
I would love the opportunity to be able to be in person to podcast with someone because that would be incredible. It's like you say, a lot easier to see the reactions of someone and just get the vibe of the room. It's a little bit harder like this because you're still looking into a camera, but I love the fact that we're able to hang out like this. And the way that you review the films and things, you kind of bring your own elements to how you talk about the ones that you've watched. So did you want to just quickly say kind of what your specialty or what you like to bring to on the subject? And we'll start with Zach.
Yeah, sure. I think just because like I'm more into like the film aspect of things anyway, I like to see like the visual elements of each film and how they develop or don't develop over the series. And I also like to see what like the story elements are that they keep intact and they build off of. But it's definitely like the visual part for me because I love all like the camera work and everything like that.
Cool. And how about you, Malcolm?
Wow, Zach took a really good answer. That was pretty much gonna be mine. I like to bring my own kind of like personal experience with whatever movies we watch. Most of the movies that we watch, I've already seen, and I have some kind of personal background with it. I also worked in a movie theater for a very long time, so any of the newer movies that we have, that we feature, I have some kind of connection to, and stuff like that. So I like to bring my own little personal connection to it.
And Logan?
Okay, first of all, they're both being really humble. They are both like the encyclopedias for the show. Malcolm has like a wealth of knowledge as far as like film, like releases and actor names and stuff. And same with Zach with like director names and everything. And I always give this blank stare that I edit out of the show when I don't know the name of something. And then I like to, coming from a writing standpoint, like look at story structure and like what some of my biggest problems are always like when the story falls apart or doesn't follow its own rules. So I'm always like trying to follow the story, especially if it's a long series where things continue to evolve. It's like, are they holding on to all the rules they've made? Are the characters staying the characters that they set out to be, or are they changing just for the sake of it? And so I'm always looking at it from like that type of angle, story structure, character development.
Cool. I like how you bring all of that together, and it is a really fun and interesting way that you share about the films. And you have like a bit of a format that you go through, and at the end you give them a rating. And I love how that changes depending on what film you're watching or have watched.
Thank you.
Yeah, we try to rate them based on something that happened in the
Some
movie.
element of the movie. Yeah.
But it makes it fun for us.
Cool. Cynthia asked, is there a movie you guys have done a podcast for that you've never seen before? Like, as you've, if not, is that something you would do?
It's something we're gonna do with whatever Bandrew's pick is. That's gonna be something that we will do.
You don't have strong enough stomachs for Green Inferno or Cannibal Holocaust?
I have not seen Green Inferno yet. I actually want to.
Oh, well, that's the one.
All right, cool. I don't think you guys have seen most of the Resident Evils.
I've seen like 2. So
I saw the first 4.
Okay, I've seen all of them. So
yeah, I don't think we've either gone in not having seen everything in the series or but now I want to do one where we haven't even seen the movie and we just,
Yeah.
we just review it.
Back in the day, we did that once with the Independence Day sequel.
Yeah.
It was just Malcolm and I though.
yeah,
And we played it completely straight. It was fun.
yeah, we just like broke it down and made up what we thought would happen basically, and just completely just made it up to the point where we know a couple of people who listened to that and were mad because they were like, "Wait, I don't remember that happening in the movie."
That's
one way to
stay
get
tuned for our-
engagement, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Let's just say April 1st will be an interesting episode. 2020.
Okay. Cynthia also had a comment in the chat. Why don't you guys film yourselves while you're podcasting and put out blooper reels?
Oh boy.
That is a good question. Usually because we are very sweaty and we don't want to subject people to the image of 3 sweaty dudes. I think the internet is full of enough of that, and the buck stops here.
Yeah. Also, it's extra work. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're lazy.
As soon as we launch that Patreon and get an editor, we're gonna get an intern and then we'll do video.
Yeah, Cynthia, see us about a job.
Yeah.
Bandra, I have a question for you. Out of the on the subject things that they've covered so far, which one has been your favorite episode that you've listened to? Sorry.
Oh.
I don't even know. I'd have to pull up I don't have my phone in here to avoid the ringing. I'd
Did
have to
you
pull up a list of
enjoy-
all of them.
Did you
'cause
enjoy
I don't remember
the
all of the episodes.
the Hot Fuzz one and like that series of
Oh yeah, the Cornetto trilogy.
yeah
Yeah,
that
the
was a lot of
Cornetto
fun.
trilogy was amazing. The entire time I was listening, I was chiming in the entire time, just screaming, "I want to be there! I have to tell them this! I have to tell them this! No, they got that wrong." I don't think you actually did. I'm pretty sure you got everything right. But the Cornetto trilogy was incredible. I loved that series so much.
Can I just say, like, with podcasts, that's my favorite thing to hear, especially about ours. Because I love like listening to a podcast and like looking like a crazy person because I'm speaking to myself. Be like, no, like that doesn't make sense, or like I'll just start laughing like randomly, like I feel like being a part of the conversation. So I love hearing that about ours. That's awesome, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's fun how you can freak people out if you listen to podcasts enough. Everybody at my work just walks by my office and I'm just sitting there giggling with nobody hears any noise. They just think I'm giggling all day long. So they all think I'm an insane person. Not far off, but not for that reason. Sorry.
That's all right. So with that series too, I sat there thinking like I want to rewatch these now. I wanted to go back and experience the nostalgia of watching them again. Like just, it was a lot of fun listening to them. But otherwise, the one that you did recently on the John Wick series, because John Wick 3 came out this year, and so it actually made me super excited to go to the movie and see it, so that I could actually listen to your episode afterwards.
Awesome.
That means so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, genuinely.
And I haven't been to the movies in ages, so that's saying something that I was like, I have to go see this so that I can listen in.
What was the last movie you saw in theaters before that?
Oh, I don't even know. It might have been I,
That's
Tonya.
Wow.
Okay, that's not super far.
That's a good movie to go see.
Yeah,
It was
that's a
good.
good stressful time.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I enjoyed it.
I just
It
want to
was
use that
really
as a quote though for the podcast. It's just a reason to go to the movies so you can
That's
watch, so you
pretty
can listen to our
good.
episodes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is a choice pull quote.
fun.
Put on the Blu-ray.
There's a question from Chris. If a movie makes you literally barf, how does that affect your rating of the movie?
Great question. That has not happened to me yet.
Oh boy. Well, once again, when Bandrew's episode shows,
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
how many barfs out of 10 will we give this
I
movie?
guess.
If the intent is for you to be disgusted, right? Like there's that
Yeah.
movie Raw, which is about like
That
movie-
oh,
no, I haven't seen it. I'm just saying it's
You're
an example.
baby.
It's
That
an example
movie's
that
great.
yeah. So maybe one day.
I feel like it would negatively impact it.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what the goal of the film was. Like Logan was saying, if the intent was to like disgust you, that's a plus. But if it like if you watch Hardcore Henry and it makes you sick because it's moving too much, that's a that's a minus.
Ducky has a question and he asked, do you do US only film movies or do you have any favorite movie that's not US?
That's a good question. I would actually say the Cornetto trilogy isn't U.S. movies.
Yeah.
A minor cop out, but
I mean, like, well, so Fast and Furious is like international because they're trying to. Do they mean like release? Well,
I think the answer is no. I think, but like we should in the future. I'd be completely down for that.
Yeah.
I also think, and this is completely like not tested or anything or not proven, but I think it's more common for U.S. films to have franchises because we're greedier.
Yeah.
I think there's just less like foreign franchises. I can't think of any.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Bean,
like the Pusher franchise.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would it be a terrible assumption? I hope it's not, but I'm getting things wrong all over the place. But films are important to all of us. Is that something we all have in common?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Things who makes us who we are.
So, Bandrew, on the Bandrew Says podcast, you've sort of brought back the movie of the week segment.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to do because I have been watching so many messed up movies and I've kind of burned myself out on them. So I've been trying to find some goofier films. I've been working through the Child's Play or Chucky series right now.
Yeah.
It's still horror, but I read a review and I thought it was hilarious. They called Chucky the F-boy of horror. And I was like, oh yeah, I kind of get that. I kind of get it. And it's really goofy and I'm just having so much fun watching them and trying to come up with a 2-minute synopsis and kind of pitch for the movie or trashing the movie. I haven't done that yet on the movie of the week, but I do that when I'm writing down reviews because I have a secret social media account that I post reviews to.
Did you watch the second
sorry,
to last one yet?
No, I'm only on. I just watched Child's Play 3 a couple of nights ago.
The second to last one was my favorite one because it's bananas.
Okay. I bought the box set, so I have a lot to look forward to, it sounds like.
Which one is that?
I think it was like a straight to Netflix thing, maybe.
Really?
I'm not sure.
Bandrew, is your secret video review account called Fandrew?
No, it should be though.
Well,
Fandrew reviews.
Secrets
Fandrew
out,
says.
y'all.
I'm writing that down.
You've just been truthed.
Fandrew. Written down. Changing it after this.
What I'm here for. Writer.
That was good.
Question for you all. Who do you think's watched the most films this year out of all of you?
Zach.
Yeah, me.
It's been Zach.
I'm going to go with Zach. I have a tally and I'm at 98 movies this year.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I don't keep a tally because that would depress me.
I'm like at 185, I think.
Yeah, that adds up.
And what's your total up to, Bandrew?
I am pulling it up right now. Last one I did on this site was 147, and that was Murder Mystery. And that was right after Human Centipede 3. Gosh, I might be up to around 180 or 192.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm up there as well.
Wow.
Cool.
Dana, you need to watch more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough call. Dean asked, Ask Fandrew segment incoming, like Is that going to be a new segment?
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna write that down too. Ask Fandrew.
I can't wait to hear the music drop for that.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear what voice Bandrew does for Fandrew.
Yeah.
I have to do a voice now.
Andrew.
Yeah, we say it on here. It has to happen.
Actually,
Like 90s Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
But it's Fandrew. That makes sense.
must do voice.
Can't say that you don't listen to the audience and take on their suggestions. Chris has got. Do you guys use Letterbox?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the secret social media account.
I'm gonna find you.
That's a pretty cool one with people connecting with films and reviewing
Fandrew.
them and following
Fandrew
people.
after this.
Chris has got, if you want that new segment, raise your hand, Drew. Sorry. I feel like we've gone off the rails.
And as always,
Nailed it.
when you're watching those movies, have a nice sip from a Geeks Rising mug.
Mm.
Hmm.
I wish I had a smart link to give people.
Aside from films and on the subject, you've got conversations with creators, Logan, and like I said, you talk to us, but you talk to other creators there. So I wanted to know from everyone in the chat who are some of their favorite creators that they might want to hear on the Conversations with Creators podcast in the future. That would be cool to let us know.
Oh yeah, please. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and what do I got next? I think Cynthia said Jim McKenzie.
Okay. Noted.
Okay.
I'll look them up.
Do you know who Jim McKenzie is?
I don't.
No. So what does Jim McKenzie do, Cynthia? That would be great if you could let us know in the chat. Oh, apparently your Cynthia knows who he is. Logan.
Oh boy.
You
I'm
in
getting called out. Oh no.
trouble?
I gotta go, guys.
Ooh, past your bedtime.
Liberty said Potato Jet.
It sounds like a Twitch streamer. I have no idea.
It's a great name.
Potato Jet.
I would want Logan to sit down with Edgar Wright and only discuss Spaced. I only want him to discuss the entire series of Spaced with Edgar Wright and the process of that.
Look, so you did a show Spaced.
Episode 1.
I've heard of it.
That's who I'd want.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there any?
I thought Banjo was going to say an actual potato because of Potato Jet.
That would be pretty cool. He's writing
If
it
for
down.
anyone who's in the Podcastage Discords community who may see this later or is in the chat, if there is anyone there, there was an interesting story about a potato with a, was it the basket on a head? On its head?
With a bird nest
Bird
on
nest.
its head. Yeah.
What?
That's you got to be a part of the Podcastage Discord server to get that joke.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
you had
man.
to be there type of moment.
Wow.
I will
See-
say best sign off, best announcement of somebody leaving of all time. I hate when people do that. I'm leaving. I hate it here. I'm leaving. Or I'm done here. I'm out. I hate when people do that. But this is the one time where I was so happy somebody announced it. The most epic outro ever.
Cool.
Wasn't that because they were being too kind and then you said that you had to say something mean to you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Apparently Jim McKenzie's a visual
That adds
artist, like Lisa Frank meets Tim Burton. And Zach, who would you want to hear on the Conversations with Creators podcast?
I don't know. It's tough. I just want to get like an actual filmmaker like that's actually making things in theaters. I don't know who though, but I do have an interview lined up with a Teen Titans writer, which I'm excited about.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I hope that goes well. And Malcolm, who would you want to have on the Conversations with Creators show?
I'm a nerd boy and I love comic book stuff, so I'd love some like comic book writers or artists from like one of the, I don't know, like big two, I guess. Like if I'm gonna name drop, like I don't know, like a Kelly Sue DeConnick or like a Kelly Thompson. I guess I just want to hear Kelly's. I don't know, but yeah, something like that.
Cool. Cynthia's got another recommendation of Joe Hill. I think
Ooh,
that it's
yeah.
exciting that you sort of connect with people and share their stories. We've talked about this before, Logan, but it's amazing to get that insight into the creative process behind what they do. And usually they make the things and you might not hear sort of like how they organize their schedule or they get through things or what their passions were that led them to that point. So yeah, it's awesome. I enjoy it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. That's like my favorite thing is getting to learn about people's process and like because we all see what the end product is, whether we buy it, read it, watch it, whatever it is. So I love that whole journey, and you learn more about them and the work by hearing those stories. And I just want to share that and it inspires other people to create.
Yeah. I think it's like the Sunshine Summit. It kind of brings together a bunch of people that not everyone would have been following or know about, but you get to hear a little bit behind the stories of them, and you're bringing on creators that I don't know, but there's still something I can learn from their experiences when I hear from them, so that's really cool. Panther and John Hitbox are in the chat, so hi guys, welcome. Thank you for being here. Liberty and Ducky are there too. On the note of that, since they are have popped in, the Sunshine and Power Cuts podcast is 2 years old now. It turned 2 this week, and I've been a part of.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Been a part of Geeks Rising since the beginning of February this year, which has been very exciting, and being a part of like the Podcastage Discord community has been incredible because it started like next month will be its second birthday or anniversary, and it's been incredible. I left a message in the chat the other day just saying thanks to everyone because they've been this really eclectic, incredible group of people who just are supportive, and they're doing all sorts of creative things too. So yeah, thank you for being an amazing community is where I wanted to go with that.
Well, thanks for joining the family.
Yeah. Shout out to Bandrew and the Podcastage Discord, because I feel like it's a big community and it's like helped a lot of people connect also. And we're really glad to be a part of the Sunshine Summit and like listening to your show and everything. And we kind of talked about that in April, but I love what this does, and like sharing connections helps inspire me because it's the same way you're like listening to my shows and being inspired or whatever, like listening to the podcast and watching these live streams, like I'm listening to new audience, and even your Twitter interactions with the Follow Back Friday and all that. Like, I've connected with more podcasts now over the past like year than I have previously. So
yeah, it makes my worldview kind of like bigger, which I really appreciate. So genuinely, thank you for doing this. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Heather hype.
Hi. Oh, that's gonna get awkward. Yeah. Ducky agrees Podcastage community inspired him to continue doing stuff. And Ducky has a podcast called Ducking Games. So he talks about game design, which is really cool. Have there been any important connections for us as Geeks Rising, apart from each other, this year that you want to highlight? Anybody?
Connections outside of Geeks Rising?
Yeah, sorry, I worded that wrong. Yeah.
I'm sure there is, and I'm not going to single anybody out, because then if I don't include somebody, they'll get angry. There have been plenty, and it's been so awesome getting to meet new people and hear different stories about why they're creating stuff, and also just geek out about audio gear or movies or anything. It's There's been a lot of really good conversations and connections I've made in the Discord server that I've made this year, and there's been a lot of very intellectually stimulating conversations. So yeah, there's a lot on my end.
Cool. And how about for you guys?
I feel like, yeah, for me, I'm spoiled with like I do an interview show, so I get to meet new people, and it's like an excuse. But then, I'll start following their stuff, or I will have been following, and then after that show, I'll see people follow me, and then I follow them back, and I get to see even more like people, especially with artists. It's like I'll see that they were following some other artists, and I'll start like looking up their stuff, and yeah. So for me, I guess I'm spoiled with a show that does that for me.
Yeah, I can't think of any for me, but I keep myself pretty secluded. I'm just like an old man. I'm sure there's some people. I'm just not thinking about it right now.
Can I say Brian?
Oh yeah,
that's pretty cool. We got to interview one of my favorite comic creators again through the show, but I mean, and it's cool to have that. Brian Hill, he's like a comic creator, but he's also a bit of like a filmmaker and a musician and stuff. And
he's done scripts for Titans show,
the DC
and
Universe show.
He's written some Batman stuff.
He's currently the writer on Batman: The Outsiders and the Angel book at Boom Studios. He's about to write a big X-Men book too. So yeah, it was cool to like connect with him and get a look inside his brain, look inside someone who's actively putting out a lot of content, and just but also very clearly one of us, just like in his core, like he could be another co-host on this podcast and like he would fit in perfectly. So that was super cool.
One of us.
One of us. Through Geeks Rising, meeting Ben for the host Tourette's podcast, like that was awesome. And I'm every time I can bring him up, I'm gonna bring up his beautiful voice. It's like I can listen to read the phone book.
Do you think we could add a podcast to the network where Ben reads the phone book? That could be the name of it.
I want it to be Ben interviews famous potatoes.
Like Spuds McKenzie,
the potato from the Portal video games.
Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, obviously, Mr. Potato Head as well.
The original potato battery that you did in like 5th grade science class. Yeah, just Ben talking about anything.
Okay. Ben is a pretty awesome connection, and I mean, it's incredible that we all do really different things. This has kind of come up this week and other places, but that we all have very different projects that we're working on, but that we're passionate about what we do, and that we work well together as a network, and that we're supportive of each other. I really love how you guys have been supportive on like social media and just in our as a network when we've had questions or we want feedback on things. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with everybody to figure out what shape the network wants to go, rather than just saying, "Hey Heather, hey Logan, hey Zach, hey Malcolm, hey Ben, here's how it is. Deal with it." It's more, "Hey, what do you think we should do here? What can we do in this situation?" And it's been so cool. It's very collaborative, and I think that's what's so fun and rewarding about it for me. So I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. John in the chat said, I want to start a random horror movie chat podcast soon, even if it's just throughout October. You could do 31 days of your favorites.
That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do it.
Ducky has
4 listeners.
Yeah. Yay. Ducky has a question for Bandrew. What connection that you actually made because of your podcast you think was the most improbable, but it happened?
I don't know if I've made any through my podcast, through the Bander Says podcast, through Podcastage. I'll just say Heather. It's New Zealand. Like that never would have crossed my mind. Just, hey, you're gonna have a close friend who lives across the world. I never would have imagined that. So I'll go with that. That was very unexpected or very improbable. I think, yeah.
It's literally
Yeah,
the coolest
I'm
thing.
not your target audience on Podcastage. I am in the smaller group of people that watch that, and yeah, it has been amazing. I would not have expected to be sitting here with you in a live stream or be a part of your network or anything like that 2 years ago. So, yeah. Don't make me cry. That's not good.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Chris said, are any Geeks Rising hosts going to attend Storm Area 51?
I'm gonna be at Alien Stock since that was recently announced. The whatever music festival that they turned it into.
Whoa, that's a good idea.
I follow the news. I'm
Okay.
a raid Area 51. I just want to interview some aliens. That's why I'm going. Bringing my podcast gear.
Got a whole rig. We're like, excuse me. Can I get a quote?
We're gonna have all the aliens. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Hey,
Storm Area 51, they can't stop all of us. Oh my goodness.
look at this guy, huh? Banji, you've been practicing your Naruto run? You ready to Naruto run across that line?
I got a discount code because I signed up for Chartable or something. So I was looking at shirts and I said, hey, Storm Area 51, I want to be able to remember the day that thousands of people were shot by the U.S. military.
When is that scheduled for? I don't know what the hard date is.
September 20th.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Please, nobody in the Geeks Rising Network do that.
No.
Do that. I like all of you too much. I don't want you to disappear.
That said, like, stay far away and, like, take notes for us. Like, get something.
I'm just gonna try to see if any of the aliens want to talk to us about some of the upcoming movies in 2020.
That's really what Storm Area 51 is all about. They all want to like break out and really just want to talk about the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah. They just want to be content creators. I mean, just like the rest of us.
I'm just gonna run out and be like, Apocalypse is the best one. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, future conversations with creators, like so many episodes possible.
It's like, so Qzord, you.
Outside of that event that's happening, in September at the end of the month, there is International Podcast Day, which is happening, which is an international celebration of the power of podcasts. So hopefully, fingers crossed after this, and if I talk to the others, hopefully we'll be able to organize something for that. And yeah, I think I've got on the calendar, you guys are going to be coming up. Is it over a year? How long have you been doing on the subject? Did that launch this year, at the beginning of this year?
So Paper Robots ended in December last year, and both the shows started this year.
Yeah.
So we're almost a year old.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's definitely a journey, like changing from one thing, Paper Robots, and then creating these other ones. But I really like how it worked out, that the elements of Paper Robots were able to fit into these two new shows.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And we're going to get Malcolm and Zach to be hosting the creator like interviews as well. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad about the change and everything.
Yeah. And we've got big plans for the second year.
Big plans. Season
That's
2 is going to
exciting.
go hard, y'all.
Listen to those after credits on that podcast.
Trust me.
Chris has said to Bandrew, play some guitar for the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to offend them.
Oh,
This is all you got? Really? We traveled so dang far, and this is the best you can do? Then they'd yeet themselves out of the galaxy. Yes,
So
I just said eat, Logan. Don't Don't shake your
So instead of doing the Storm Area 51, I feel like we should just have a Geeks Rising meetup in New Zealand, and you should all come here.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
let's do that.
I'd
Sounds-
love to.
Yeah.
Let me pay a little bit more off on my credit card first. And then we'll-
Yeah.
Storm New Zealand.
Yeah.
exactly, Ducky.
By boat, says Chris. So, yeah.
See you in
Alright.
2 years.
Yeah, pretty
All right.
much. Hopefully you make
We'll
it.
figure it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this stream, I'm really excited for where Geeks Rising is now, like everyone who's on there, and just the possibilities that we have with all of our shows, but also together as a network. It's like this. Aside from the theme of Geeks Rising being like dark, like black and white, just it is a bit of it's a huge light in my life, and it's you all inspire me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we do in the future.
And you inspire, I'm going to speak for everybody. You inspire all of us as well. You
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you create
Worked
such
insanely
a-
hard.
Yeah. Your show is just so positive and thought-provoking, I guess I would say, because whenever I'm listening to it, I'm always thinking, oh, well, how can I implement this idea into my life? And then you do this show, which is just awe-inspiring, where you do 10 streams in 7 days. It's
Yeah.
bonkers.
It's amazing.
I quit doing a podcast after doing 4 interviews in a month. You do this 10 in 7 days.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
tremendously impressive. So the
Yeah,
feeling is
you-
mutual is what I mean.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
definitely a positive impact on all of us. Genuinely. Like, thank you so much for having us on and doing what you do. Genuinely. It's awesome.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to when the podcast gets back into its schedule of episodes and things. But it's been kind of incredible to hear the stories of people connecting with that, and yeah, being able other people who follow Geeks Rising being able to find all of us in one place. And on that note, we have this here, and it's a link, a page where we're all linked. Hopefully we're all on screen and you can still see Zach, Logan, and Malcolm sitting on the couch. That was a little tricky, but for Zach, Logan, and Malcolm, we've got on Twitter on the subject 1 and Creators With is the handles there. On Instagram, it's on the subject or CWC_podcast. And the website for Logan, I think you've got a link on your website to Geeks Rising.
Yeah.
Logan? Thatlogan.com, and you can see the other things that Logan's up
That
to. over
Logan
there.
and Geeks Rising.
I know I've got that at the top. So up the top of the thing is all of the links to Geeks Rising. There's Instagram, the website, geeksrising.com, and Twitter. And Bandrew, you've got Bandrew Says on Twitter, but you've also got Podcastage. Bandrew Says on Instagram. One day you might pop there and over there and do something. I don't know.
I never
And-
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I kind of did that though to just keep the layout thing because otherwise it was tricky. Sorry. So there's some stuff there. If you
That's
want to- and BandrewSays.com. Over on the Geeks Rising Instagram, we've got now like a little highlight thing for each of the shows there, so you can see like posts and stories that we share if you are on Instagram and use that one. So yeah. Thank you to everyone who came by the live chat. Thank you, Ducky. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Cynthia, Tim, and Mark, and Eldest, and Liberty, Panther John, and Dean. Thank you so much, Dean, for being here. Dean is in New Zealand, so that's exciting. New Zealand connection.
Hey, Dean.
Nice. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. But yeah, really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for having the Sunshine Summit banner on Geeks Rising for the last little while to help promote it and get the word out about it. And yeah, looking forward to all that we do in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I have one more
Yay,
thing.
thank you.
Wait. I have one more thing. I've been asking people this week what their favorite nature connections are, and I wanted to ask, like, Logan, Malcolm, and Zach, what your favorite nature connections are.
So it was on my wife's birthday, we went hiking. So we live in Arizona, which in Tucson is like a mountain range valley, and I like hiking out here. You get into cool weather, and it's beautiful.
You've also got a new addition to the family, which is. Do you want to share about that?
Rory, our little bunny. Yeah.
Cool.
Zach, you want to?
Yeah, for me, I live up by the base of a mountain here, and just everything out there is incredibly gorgeous. I see tons of wildlife, and I see everything from toads and birds, like coyotes and snakes and whatnot. It's great to take it all in.
That's awesome.
For me, I don't have a car, so I bus or walk everywhere. And so kind of just like when I'm walking, I kind of just take it, even if it is like in the city, you know, there's a lot of interesting out there, and a lot of heat because we live in Arizona, but but there's a lot to take in that, just in the smallest things. A lot of lizards this week. I've seen a lot of lizards this week, which is really cool. I like lizards. They're dope.
Cool. Panther in the chat said hiking and climbing is always relaxing. So if you enjoy that, that's really cool. Or just making the most of the walks that you do to the bus stop or wherever you're walking to. I think that's really important. You can like look up and see what's happening in the sky or notice something. It doesn't have to be a big thing that you do to have a nature connection. And Bandrew, what's your favorite nature connection?
So I would have said going to the woods or going to the mountains a while ago, but I don't really go outside much anymore. So this is going to sound like a huge cop out, but it's when I do the podcasted voice chats, I don't do it in my studio anymore, which all the windows are blacked out. I do it in my living room, and I look out the window at the night sky and over the city. So I guess that's kind of a nature connection. So I can actually see outside.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Your nature connection is going to be storming Area 51.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go with that. And Air Force, military, government, that is a joke. I will not be there. You can take me off your list. I'm fine.
See, we come full circle.
Cynthia said the moon right now in Tucson, so I'm imagining that's pretty awesome. Go outside and have a look afterwards, or look out the window after this one, and yeah. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, cool. Thank you for. Oh no, I was going to say something on the woods thing as well. Is that I probably helped ruin that too with my film suggestion, tying in films and things with what was it, Backcountry?
Yeah, you know, for maybe a week that had me scared. But you know what? There's worse ways to go. I'll wrestle with a bear. There's a band called I Wrestled a Bear Once. I'll just listen to that band while I am hiking, and then it'll just be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. And to make this really super fun, until next time, be empowered by nature.
Yay.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you,
Thank
See
Heather.
you guys.
Thank
Thank you.
Have a great one, everybody.